Today we'll be learning how to make a net sinker. Basically, we'll be taking a flat piece of sandstone, and what you do is you'll take another piece of rock slightly harder, like this one here, and you'll be basically pecking the rock. Pecking is striking, taking another stone and striking it on the stone to create a net sinker. And Indian people would make these for basically weights for fish nets, and they would also make them for holding down nets that they would use to catch ducks in the marsh. So what you would do is you string a net across the marsh and scare up the ducks, and they'd fly into a net. So these would hold the net on the bottom. And so if you go out into the marshlands, you can find in areas where the Indian people live, you can find these along river banks or in the marsh, in the mud. And basically what you do is you'll take a stone and you're pecking basically a little notch on each side to attach the string. So what you're doing to make this notch here is you're basically taking another piece of sandstone and you're basically hitting it repeatedly times up against here, and what you're doing is you're just creating powder. This type of tool is called a stone or a ground stone tool. Many bushcrafters often forget about all the stone ground tools people had in the past. Mortars and pestles, fishing weights, all kinds of things were basically stone ground. Today we mainly look at flake tools like knives and blades and arrow points and things like that. But there's a whole other culture of or set of tools were basically the ground tools. So this is basically a simple type of fishing weight you can make. You can make these smaller, you can make them larger. You can also make several of these and tie them together on take some tule cordage, or like I made here, and tie them together and make what's called a bola. It's basically 3 of these stones together, which is basically a type of a weapon used for catching. You can catch deer with it by throwing it and wrapping it around their legs. Thank you for joining me today on the Living History School, and hopefully you learned a little bit about ground stone tools and net sinkers and how to make them.